Hi, John. I'm Herb Stratford with KBOA and KMSB in Tucson, Arizona. And I think we met when you were in Napa with Saving Mr. Banks. So nice to see you again.
Good to see you again, Herb.
So first of all, let me just start by saying your cast is perfect. Jaden has that old soul, and of course, Donald is sublime. How was that process of finding these characters for you?
It's always a fun process, but it's something, I don't know. I read the novella and said, yes, I want to adapt this and do it. And then you start to think about who might play these characters. I mean, when I was reading the novella, Stephen King's dialogue put in Mr. Harrigan's, mouth on the page, just, there was something about it. The turn of the phrase, this reminded me of Donald. So he was at the top of the list always, but then trying to find someone who's younger, who has to kind of carry the movie and goes from the ages of 15 to 18 is a tall task. And I'd been a big Jaden Martell fan from St. Vincent on. Ryan Johnson, who's a friend, recommended him to me from Knives Out. He said, "Oh, you just hire him. He's great." Carla Hacken had worked. One of our producers had worked with him on a movie before and said how great he was. And so when we met, I just thought he can do this, and it's hard. He has to carry this journey and pull this journey off.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, this journey and working with Stephen's novella. It would be sort of easy to make the phone the scary thing, but the phone is really just the instrument of the scare. And I think that's what's so sophisticated about Stephen's work, because it's not a cheap thing like the callers coming from inside the house. I mean, that kind of a thing. What was that like, sort of using technology in that way?
He walks a fine line in all the best ways. And I tried to follow his lead in saying, technology can be good and technology can be bad. And to always understand Thoreau's words of, we don't own things, things own us. But I think what's really, really, really drew me, one of the things that drew me to wanting to do this was the fact that it's easy for someone of my age to look at the teenagers in high school all staring at their phones and those damn kids, and their phones. No, it's just as addictive for an 80-year-old reclusive, billionaire, and how quickly he is doing just like the kids are and staring at his phone. And I was really drawn to that idea. But yeah, it's an instrument of change, and sometimes that change is good and sometimes it's a little scary.
So talk about that. I think, when I first saw this announced, I was a little surprised to see you directing this piece, just because it seemed a little bit outside of what I would normally, not that I have any right to expect anything of you, but it just seemed a little bit outside of that. Was it because it was just such a powerful work by Stephen, or had you always wanted to do something that Stephen had written?
Well, I think, I'm a big Stephen King fan, for starters. So I'm going to, when Jason Blum called and said, would you read this and see if you're interested in writing and directing? I said, yes. And so I started reading probably 20 minutes after the book arrived at the door. But I think the challenge of it, I mean, you're always trying to challenge yourself. A movie is 2 years of your life. So at some point, if you take something just on a whim or whatever, I mean, actors have it better because they might work on it for 6 weeks. I mean, for me, it's a couple of years. And you've got to wake up early, and I don't like to wake up at 4:30, and so it has to be something that you really are excited about every day, and it's a challenge. And so I think for that, being a Stephen King fan, thinking about The Body that was turned into Stand By Me and how I think that worked really, really well, made me think that there was hope that I could pull this one off.
Well, you do, absolutely. And I think, the other thing is that timeless sort of message of be careful what you wish for. And we've always heard that for so many years, but it's nice to sort of see it presented again with a modern twist. And that's sort of it seems like it's a morale that, a morality tale that can be reinvented over and over again.
I think you're right. I think there are certain themes that play out well in stories, whether on the page or in movies, that we just keep learning the same lessons over and over again without it feeling repetitive.
Well, thank you very much. Congratulations on the piece. I can't wait to share it with all of our viewers. And really, it's wonderful, and looking forward to the response.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Great to meet you.
Bye.